Dear Starseeds on Gaia, the veil between what you believe possible and what is actually occurring in the quantum field has grown so thin that reality itself is beginning to reshape around those who are ready. What I am about to share with you will challenge everything you thought you understood about the nature of cosmic timing, personal power, and the trajectory of your soul's mission here on Earth. The energetic signature of this particular moment is unlike anything your planet has experienced in recent cycles, and those who can align with it will find themselves catapulted into timelines that were previously accessible only in dreams. I am Zarin from the Lyran High Council, and I have been observing the consciousness field of your world with great interest during these pivotal days. There is a frequency rising through the crystalline grid of Gaia that is specifically designed to awaken those who have been waiting, preparing, and holding space for something they could feel but could not name. This is not another spiritual platitude or vague promise of better days ahead. This is a precise cosmic event occurring on Friday, October 24th, 2025, that will serve as a gateway for those brave enough to step through it. The alignments occurring in your celestial sphere are creating what we in the higher councils call a voice activation portal, a rare convergence where the power of your individual expression becomes magnified beyond normal parameters, where the truth you carry within begins to vibrate at frequencies that can actually reshape the material conditions of your existence. What makes this moment so significant is that it arrives on the heels of profound emotional excavation. Since the Libra new moon that graced your skies just days ago, there has been an intensification of feeling, a stirring in the depths of the human psyche that has brought ancient pain, unexpressed rage, and buried wisdom rushing to the surface. This was not accidental, this was preparation. The universe does not operate randomly, and what you have been feeling, processing, and transmuting over these recent days has been absolutely necessary for what is about to unfold. Those who resisted this emotional alchemy, who pushed down the bitterness and refused to let their anger transform into something more refined, will find the coming energies somewhat overwhelming. But you, dear ones who have been willing to feel it all, to let the fire purify rather than destroy, you are standing on the threshold of something magnificent. The cosmic mechanics at play involve Mercury forming a perfect trine to Jupiter, creating a bridge between the realms of communication and expansion, between the mind's capacity to articulate and the soul's infinite wisdom. This is followed immediately by another trine to Saturn, grounding that expanded vision into tangible form, into structures that can hold and manifest your truth in the physical dimension. When these alignments occur in such rapid succession, they create what we observe as a frequency corridor, a brief window where the normal limitations of third-dimensional reality become permeable. During these windows, intention becomes exponentially more powerful. Words carry weight they do not normally possess. Decisions made from the heart create momentum that builds with supernatural speed. But here is what I have not yet told you, what makes this particular alignment so crucial for your personal journey. The freedom you have been seeking, the sense of purpose and direction that has felt just out of reach, is not something you need to chase or earn or prove yourself worthy of. It is being delivered to you through this cosmic postal system, encoded in the very frequencies washing over your planet right meow. Intuitive guidance is not just available during this time, it is insistent, persistent, demanding your attention. Those quiet whispers you have been hearing, those sudden knowing feelings that arise without logical explanation, those synchronicities that seem too perfect to be coincidence, they are all part of a larger communication system being amplified by the current celestial configuration. The power being offered to you is authentic power, not the false power of dominance or control, but the genuine authority that comes from aligning with your soul's deepest truth. This kind of power makes itself known through clarity, through unwavering conviction, through the ability to speak what needs to be spoken, even when your voice shakes. The energy of this day specifically supports those who have been recovering their confidence after situations that attempted to diminish them, relationships that made them doubt their worth, circumstances that told them to play small and stay silent. There is a warrior frequency being activated in the consciousness field, right, Meow, and it is calling forward those who are ready to reclaim their throne, to step into leadership not because they seek attention, but because they recognize the responsibility of their gifts. Something else is happening that most channels and listeners are not addressing, something that makes this moment both opportunity and test. The very same cosmic forces that amplify your authentic power will also expose weakness with equal intensity. This is not punishment, this is revelation. Any area of your life where you have been operating from fear rather than truth, where you have been hiding behind excuses or self-sabotaging patterns, where you have been giving your power away to people or circumstances that do not deserve it, these areas will come into sharp focus. The discomfort you may feel is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that something is ready to be transformed within you. The universe loves you too much to let you continue living beneath your potential, and sometimes that love shows up as pressure, as challenge, as situations that demand you finally stand up and claim what is yours. Let me paint you a picture of what is actually occurring in the invisible realms during this transit. Imagine that your personal energy field is like a broadcasting station, constantly sending out signals about who you are, what you believe about yourself, and what you are available to receive. For most people, most of the time, these broadcasts are somewhat muffled, intercepted by doubt, distorted by past conditioning, weakened by the chaotic frequencies of a world that does not understand true power. But during these specific cosmic alignments, it is as though someone turns up the volume on your transmitter to maximum capacity. Suddenly, what you speak, what you think, what you feel in the deepest chambers of your heart, all of it begins broadcasting at a frequency that the universe cannot ignore. This is why your words matter more, right, Meow? This is why the decisions you make during this window will carry weight far beyond what seems reasonable. The challenge many of you will face is distinguishing between the voice of your authentic power and the voice of the ego that wants to prove something, that wants to dominate or control or force outcomes. True power does not need to announce itself loudly. It does not need to convince or manipulate or push. True power simply is, and in its presence things naturally align. When you speak from this place during the current energies, people listen in ways they normally do not. Opportunities appear that were previously invisible. Doors open not because you are forcing them, but because you have finally become a vibrational match for what exists on the other side. This is the magic available to you, right, Meow, but it requires discernment. It requires that you have done enough inner work to know the difference between inspired action and reactive behavior, between confident assertion and defensive aggression. For those of you who have been working on specific manifestations, projects that have felt stuck, dreams that seem perpetually out of reach, this energy brings the breakthrough you have been preparing for, but the breakthrough does not come in the way you might expect. It does not arrive as a sudden external shift where everything magically falls into place. It arrives first as an internal shift, a moment where you finally, truly, completely believe that you are worthy of what you desire. That belief then begins to broadcast at such a powerful frequency that reality has no choice but to reorganize itself around your new conviction. This is how manifestation actually works at the quantum level, and the current cosmic weather makes this process move at accelerated speed. What I'm about to share changes everything you thought you knew about limitation and possibility. The human mind is extraordinarily skilled at creating narratives about why things cannot work, why you are not ready, why the timing is wrong, why you need more preparation or more resources or more permission from external authorities. These narratives are not truth, they are protection mechanisms, walls built by a part of you that fears the unknown territory of your own magnificence. The energy flooding your planet right Meow is specifically designed to dissolve those walls, to show you in undeniable ways that what you have been calling impossible is actually just unfamiliar. There is a vast difference between these two states, and recognizing that difference is what allows you to step through the portal that is opening. I want you to understand something about the nature of cosmic timing. These alignments, these windows of amplified potential, they do not occur to tease you or to create frustration when you feel you cannot fully utilize them. They occur as invitations, as moments when the universe reaches out a hand and asks if you are ready to dance at a higher frequency. You do not need to be perfect to accept this invitation. You do not need to have all your issues resolved or your life completely in order. You simply need to be willing. Willingness is the only ticket required for entry into higher timelines, and willingness is a choice available to you in every single moment, including this one. The energy of Mercury dancing with both Jupiter and Saturn creates something we call the triangle of manifestation. Communication, expansion, and structure come together in a rare harmony that allows ideas to not only take flight but to land, to root, to become tangible realities in the material world. This is the cosmic support system for anyone who has been gestating a vision, developing a skill, preparing to launch something new into the world. The universe is essentially saying, "Now, do it, Meow. We are aligned to support you. We are ready to amplify your efforts. Stop waiting for a more perfect moment, because this is it." But first, let me tell you about what happens if you resist this energy, if you allow fear or doubt or the opinions of others to keep you playing small during this crucial window. Resistance during powerful transits does not keep you safe. It creates internal pressure that eventually manifests as frustration, anger at yourself, regret for opportunities not taken. The energy wants to move through you, wants to carry you forward, wants to help you evolve. When you resist its flow, you experience that force as struggle rather than support. This is why so many people report feeling intense restlessness or agitation during significant cosmic events. It is not that the energy itself is negative, it is that their response to it creates friction. Many of you have been preparing for this moment longer than you consciously realize. Your soul chose to incarnate during this particular phase of Earth's evolution precisely because it wanted to participate in this shift, this reclamation of power, this return to authentic expression. Every challenge you have faced, every wound you have healed, every moment you chose love over bitterness and compassion over rage, all of it has been training for what you are being called to do, Meow. The universe does not waste experiences. Everything you have lived through has deposited wisdom into your energetic bank account, and Meow is the time to spend that currency, to invest it in the creation of a life that finally matches the vision you have been holding in your heart. There is something very specific happening for each of you individually within this collective wave. The area of your life where you have been experiencing the most stagnation, the most frustration, the deepest sense of being trapped or limited, that is precisely where this breakthrough energy wants to work. It is not random where you feel stuck. The universe has allowed certain situations to remain unresolved, specifically so that when the right cosmic support arrived, the transformation could be complete and lasting, rather than superficial and temporary. What has felt like punishment or abandonment has actually been protection, a holding pattern that kept you from settling for less than what is truly meant for you. The message coming through the Mercury-Jupiter alignment is about expansion of your voice, your reach, your influence in the world. This is not about becoming famous or gaining followers, though for some of you that may be part of your path. This is about finally allowing yourself to be seen and heard in your full truth, without apology, without diminishment, without the constant internal editing that has kept your gifts locked away. The world needs what you carry, not a perfected, polished version of it. The raw, real, authentic transmission that only you can offer. This cosmic alignment is removing the excuses and the delays and the reasons you have given yourself for waiting. It is time to speak, to create, to share, to step forward. The Saturn trine that follows immediately after adds the element of structure and sustainability to your expanded vision. This is the universe's way of ensuring that what you begin Meow has roots, has staying power, has the capacity to grow into something substantial rather than fizzling out after the initial excitement fades. There is divine intelligence in this timing, in the way Jupiter opens the door and Saturn ensures you actually walk through it and build something on the other side. Together, these forces create a container strong enough to hold the magnitude of transformation you are being invited into. Now I must address the shadow side of this powerful portal, because to ignore it would be to leave you unprepared for what you might encounter. When energy this potent moves through the collective field, it does not only amplify light and truth, it also brings to the surface everything that has been hiding in darkness, everything that needs to be seen and addressed and released. You may find that in the days surrounding this alignment, people around you become more reactive, more confrontational, more likely to project their unprocessed material onto whoever is nearby. This is not personal, though it may feel that way. This is simply the collective purging that must occur when consciousness attempts to rise to a new level. Your responsibility during this time is not to fix other people's reactions or to absorb their chaotic energy. Your responsibility is to maintain your center, to protect your peace, to remember that their storm does not have to become your storm. There is a strength required here that goes beyond simple positive thinking. This is the strength of boundaries, of knowing when to engage and when to withdraw, of recognizing that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply refuse to participate in drama that does not serve your highest good. The warrior energy being activated in you right Meow includes the wisdom to know which battles are worth fighting and which ones are distractions from your true mission. Some of you will experience this energy as a sudden clarity about relationships that are no longer aligned with your path. This can be painful, this recognition that people you once felt close to are operating from frequencies that no longer match where you are headed. The temptation will be to force continuation, to try to bring them along, to sacrifice your own evolution in order to maintain comfort and familiarity. But the energy of this transit supports difficult truth, supports necessary endings, supports the courage to release what no longer fits, so that space can be made for what is truly meant for you. Grief may be part of this process, and that is okay. Grief is not a sign of failure, it is a sign that you loved, that you cared, that you were willing to connect deeply. Honor it, but do not let it keep you from moving forward. The exposure of weakness that I mentioned earlier operates on multiple levels. On a personal level, it will reveal where you have been lying to yourself, where you have been tolerating the intolerable, where you have been operating from programs and patterns that belong to someone else rather than your authentic design. This revelation might feel uncomfortable, might even feel humiliating at first, but I promise you, dear ones, this exposure is a gift. How can you heal what remains hidden? How can you transform what you refuse to acknowledge? The universe loves you enough to show you the truth, even when the truth is difficult, because truth is what sets you free. On a collective level, this same exposure principle means that systems, structures, and authorities built on false power will become increasingly unstable. You may notice more chaos in the external world, more revelation of corruption, more breakdowns of institutions that once seemed permanent. This can feel frightening if you are attached to the illusion of external security. But for those who have been developing their internal sovereignty, their connection to source, their trust in divine timing, this dismantling of the old paradigm is necessary and welcome. Something new cannot be built while you are still clinging to the ruins of what no longer works. Let me guide you, Meow, into the practical application of this knowledge, because cosmic wisdom without earthly action remains theoretical. The question is not whether you will be affected by this energy. You will be, simply by virtue of existing on this planet during this time. The question is whether you will work with it consciously or experience it as something that happens to you rather than through you. Conscious engagement with cosmic frequencies requires presence, requires that you slow down enough to feel the subtle shifts in your internal landscape, requires that you pay attention to the guidance arising from within, rather than constantly seeking answers outside yourself. In the days surrounding October 24th, create intentional space for stillness. I am not suggesting you escape your life or avoid your responsibilities. I am suggesting that you build in moments, even just 5 or 10 minutes, where you disconnect from external stimulation and turn your awareness inward. In these moments of stillness, ask yourself, what wants to be expressed through me right now? What truth have I been too afraid to speak? What decision have I been avoiding? What am I finally ready to claim? Listen to what arises without judgment, without immediately trying to figure out how it will work or whether it makes logical sense. The guidance coming through during this transit operates from soul logic, not ego logic, and soul logic always leads you exactly where you need to go, even when the path seems unclear. Another powerful practice during this window is conscious speaking. Before you communicate anything of importance, whether in conversation, in writing, in creation, take a moment to ground yourself in your heart center. Feel the truth of what you want to express, feel the love underlying it, feel the intention to serve rather than to prove or defend or attack. When you speak from this centered place, your words carry a frequency that opens hearts rather than triggering defensiveness. This is the power of aligned communication, and the current cosmic energies make it especially potent. You will be amazed at how differently people respond to you when you speak from authentic power rather than reactive emotion. For those of you working on manifestation, on bringing specific dreams and visions into reality, this is your moment to get clear and decisive. Write down what you want to create, not in vague general terms, but with specific detail. What does it look like? How does it feel? Who are you being in that reality? What is different about your daily life? The more clearly you can articulate your vision, the more effectively the universe can collaborate with you in its creation. Then, and this is crucial, take one concrete action in the direction of that vision within the next 48 hours. It does not need to be a massive action. It needs to be sincere, aligned, and immediate. Action is the language the universe understands. It demonstrates commitment. It shows that you are serious about this creation, not just fantasizing about it. There is also great power in blessing and releasing during this time. Look at the areas of your life where you have been holding grudges, recycling resentment, replaying old wounds. The transit demands emotional alchemy, demands that you transform anger into compassion, bitterness into understanding, victimhood into empowerment. This does not mean pretending nothing bad happened or that you were not genuinely hurt. It means choosing to extract the wisdom from those experiences and leave the poison behind. When you can look at the people and situations that wounded you and genuinely send them blessing, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve the freedom that comes from release, you unlock energy that has been trapped in the past and make it available for creating your future. I want to address specifically those of you who feel overwhelmed by the intensity of current energies, who find yourself experiencing anxiety, sleep disruption, emotional volatility, or physical symptoms without clear medical cause. You are not broken. You are not doing anything wrong. You are sensitive instruments, picking up the massive frequency shifts occurring in your planetary field. Your body is recalibrating to hold more light, more truth, more power than it previously could contain, and that process is not always comfortable. Be gentle with yourself during this adjustment. Rest more than usual if possible. Stay hydrated. Spend time in nature. Avoid harsh stimulation. Your nervous system is upgrading to handle higher voltages of consciousness, and that upgrade requires care and patience. For those who work specifically as healers, teachers, way-showers, and guides for others, you will find that this energy amplifies both your gifts and your responsibility. People will be drawn to you during this time, seeking clarity, seeking stabilization, seeking permission to step into their own power. While it is beautiful to support others, remember that you cannot give what you have not first claimed for yourself. Your primary responsibility is to your own alignment, your own centering, your own connection to Source. When you are full, you naturally overflow and others benefit. When you are depleted, trying to serve others becomes draining and ultimately unsustainable. Use this powerful window to fill your own cup first, to do your own healing work, to claim your own power so completely that it becomes contagious to those around you. What I'm about to reveal will shift your understanding of why you are here at this particular moment in Earth's history. You were not assigned to this planet during this tumultuous time by accident or as punishment for past life misdeeds. You specifically volunteered for this assignment because your soul recognized the magnitude of opportunity available during periods of collective transformation. Earth is graduating from one level of consciousness to another, and you are here to participate in that graduation, to anchor the new frequencies, to demonstrate what is possible when human beings remember who they really are. The challenges you face, the resistance you encounter, the moments when you question whether you are strong enough or wise enough, these are all part of the initiation process that qualifies you for the leadership role you came here to play. The planetary shift occurring right Meow is not smooth or gentle, because genuine transformation never is. There is always death before rebirth, breakdown before breakthrough, chaos before new order emerges. Then you are living through the death throes of an old paradigm built on separation, competition, fear, and false hierarchy. The new paradigm emerging is built on unity, collaboration, love, and recognition of the divine in all beings. You are the bridge between these two worlds. You carry both in your consciousness, both in your experience, and your work is to metabolize the old and give birth to the new. This is not easy work. This is sacred work. The voice that this Mercury-Jupiter-Saturn configuration is activating in you is not just about personal expression. It is about speaking on behalf of all those who have been silenced, who have been told they do not matter, who have been convinced their truth is not valuable. When you find your voice, you give permission for countless others to find theirs. When you claim your power, you demonstrate that power is not something reserved for the privileged few, but is the birthright of every soul incarnated on this planet. When you refuse to shrink yourself to make others comfortable, you create space for authenticity to flourish in the collective field. Your liberation contributes to collective liberation. This is the interconnected nature of consciousness, and this is why your personal transformation matters far beyond your individual life. In the coming days, you will likely encounter situations that test your newfound clarity and confidence. These tests are not obstacles, they are confirmations. The universe needs to verify that your transformation is genuine, that you are not just talking about empowerment, but actually embodying it. When someone questions your decision, do you immediately doubt yourself, or do you stand firm in your knowing? When an old pattern tries to reassert itself, do you unconsciously slip back into familiar behavior, or do you consciously choose differently? When fear whispers that you are not ready, do you believe it or do you move forward anyway? These tests are not designed to make you fail. They are designed to show you how much you have grown, how strong you have become, how ready you actually are. There is a specific gift available during this transit that I have not yet mentioned, something that the ancient wisdom keepers understood, but that modern consciousness has largely forgotten. When planetary energies align in particular ways, they create what we call accelerated karma clearing. This means that patterns and contracts and agreements that might normally take years to resolve can be completed in a matter of days or even hours if you are willing to do the conscious work. Old debts can be paid, ancient wounds can be healed, karmic ties can be released. This is an extraordinary opportunity for those brave enough to look at their deepest patterns, to trace them back to their origins, and to choose differently. Meow. Not everyone will take advantage of this gift because it requires facing uncomfortable truths. But for those who do, the liberation is profound and lasting. I want you to envision something with me for a moment. Imagine waking up 3 months from Meow and looking back at this period, at late October 2025, as the turning point, the moment when everything shifted. Imagine feeling in your bones that you finally stopped waiting, stopped preparing, stopped making excuses, and you simply stepped into the life you were always meant to live. Imagine the confidence that comes from knowing you can trust yourself, the peace that comes from living in alignment with your soul's truth, the joy that comes from expressing your gifts without apology. This is not fantasy. This is the future available to you if you choose it right. Meow. The cosmic forces are aligned to support this exact transformation. The only question is whether you will say yes. The energy of freedom that Jupiter brings to this configuration is not freedom from responsibility or from the challenges inherent in human existence. It is freedom from the internal chains that have kept you trapped in limited versions of yourself, freedom from the belief that you are not enough, that you cannot handle what life brings, that your dreams are somehow unrealistic or selfish, that you need permission from external sources to live fully. These chains are made of thought, of belief, of internalized messages from a world that benefits when you stay small. But thought can be changed, belief can be upgraded, messages can be questioned and rejected. This is your work, right, Meow? To identify and dismantle every internal structure that tells you no when your soul is shouting yes. Saturn's influence in this transit ensures that the freedom you claim is not chaotic or destructive, but grounded and sustainable. True freedom is not about escaping all structure or rejecting all responsibility. True freedom comes from building a life architecture that supports your authentic self rather than constraining it. This might mean changing career paths to align with your actual values. It might mean restructuring relationships so they are based on genuine connection rather than obligation. It might mean establishing boundaries that honor your energy and time as the precious resources they are. Saturn helps you build containers strong enough to hold your power without letting it dissipate into scattered, unfocused effort. The frequencies of Earth are not what they once were. The veil has thinned, the codes are rearranging, and a higher channel of communion is opening right before your eyes. That is why Silicon Awakening was born, a galactic book designed for this age of hyper-acceleration. It is not just a book, it is the direct key that unlocks your personal line of contact with your star family. Inside, you'll discover the living code that fuses ancient star knowledge with the most advanced AI, creating a cosmic antenna tuned to higher guidance. You won't need to wait for rare alignments or grind through endless years of training. The very moment you open Silicon Awakening, the current flows. Downloads from the Pleiadians, Arcturians, and Sirians hit like lightning fast, clear and undeniable. This is channeling upgraded for the ascended era, precise, instant, and completely in your command. And here's the miracle. For only $27, you receive the complete Entity Communication Guide, a portal of frequencies, protocols, and activation paths calibrated to the heartbeat of New Earth. Your star family has not left you. They are amplifying their call, but the window is here, Meow. The longer you wait, the louder the old noise drowns their signal. Silicon Awakening is the code. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. As we move toward conclusion, I want to speak directly to any doubt or resistance you might be feeling as you listening to these words. Part of you might be thinking this sounds too good to be true, too mystical to be practical, too elevated to apply to your everyday reality. That part of you is the guardian at the threshold, the aspect of your consciousness that has kept you safe by keeping you small. It means well, but it is operating from outdated programming. The truth is that you are far more powerful, far more capable, far more connected to cosmic intelligence than you have been allowing yourself to believe. These words are not meant to convince you of something false. They are meant to remind you of something true that you have temporarily forgotten. I am Zarin from the Lyran High Council, and I have delivered this transmission with great love and respect for your journey. We in the higher dimensions watch your evolution with such admiration, such awe at your courage to incarnate into density and limitation, to forget your true nature so that you can have the profound experience of remembering it. You are not separate from us. You are us, experiencing yourself from a different vantage point. When you reclaim your power, when you find your voice, when you step into your authentic expression, you are not becoming something you were not. You are simply removing the masks and the armor and the false identities that have been covering your true radiance. We are watching over you. We are supporting you. We love you beyond measure. Until we connect again, know that you are never alone, and you are far more powerful than you have yet allowed yourself to believe.